for another 9 days of play, and that's enough to make Dennis Taylor and Stephen Hendry positively giddy with excitement. Well, Dennis anyway. Hello again.
Thank you, Hazel. Always get giddy when the UK Championship comes around. Can't wait for this match to start. And it's Scott Donaldson who gets it underway. Best of 11, but even with it being the best of 11, you feel he's got to get off to a pretty good start here up against the world #1, Stephen.
Yeah, absolutely, Dennis. You couldn't have picked a tougher opponent. You know, possibly a Sullivan as well. Two best players in the world, you would say, but big test for Scott Donaldson's game today. Every aspect of his game will get tested today. Test also for the world #1. He's a bit different form the last month or two.
Didn't get that close to that attempted long pot. But of course the pink and black's tied up. But I think he can maneuver the cue ball around the table for the blue here. Oh, that's a nice little flick. But as I say, there's no easy chance here with the two high-valued colours out of commission at the moment. And that's a long way short there. Little shake of the head.
6.
He's a very talented player from Perth, Scott. Hasn't had the best of seasons, but getting to the semi-final of the Welsh Open would have given him a certain amount of confidence.
Yeah, I've seen this young man play for years. He used to play in the club where I used to practice in Stirling. He used to play in all the junior leagues.
Scott Donaldson, 6.
With that black being blocked up the way it is, it makes for a slow start to the frame. Even when you do get an opportunity, as Scott did there, it just makes it so difficult to try and score some points. Pink out of commission as well.
Not the best safety that Mark's ever played. He wanted to open the reds up, he's certainly done that, but he's left the white a long way short. But no easy starter for Scott here. So just a safety. The white will be heading back up towards the yellow here. Oh, we didn't want that double kiss. It looked as if he played it okay, and then catching that other red just caused it to cannon into the red. First chance for Mark Selby.
One.
Still got quite a bit to do. The balls are opened up much better now, but the pink and black still awkward.
Interesting there, he just basically concentrated on potting the red, didn't make any effort to screw the cue ball back up to be high on this blue, or the other side of the blue. So, first pot of the game, just made sure of it. I'd like to play this one again.
6.
Still cuttable, this red, to the right corner, but I have to come twice across the table.
7.
In fact, he was able to hold it off one cushion. So first, you would say decent scoring chance of this frame.
Yeah, the pink's
11.
available into the right corner. I think it's sitting on its spot, so it won't tie the pink up. That's the number he's looking
70.
for there, 66, to leave his opponent needing a snooker. A lot of balls to pot before he gets there. But it's an excellent chance now, and having said that, as he drops straight on the blue, I think he's got a slight angle, so all the great players have a knack of starting well in matches. More so than Stephen Hendry sitting next to me, the number of times they'd start a match with a frame-winning break.
23.
A lot of the times a century.
$24.
You could see the way he reacted there. He knew he hadn't played that as he intended. So going to be difficult to keep the break going here. That was all he could do with the blue there being tight on the cushion.
29. Mark Selby, 29.
Yeah, he's played a good safety there. He feels that he can get past the pink and blue, but wow, there's not much sticking out there. He's being very careful here, Scott, because he knows one mistake and he could lose this opening frame.
In the end, you're right, Dennis. I think that's cost him the frame, that shot. I presume he was just playing it the red dead straight to knock the red off two cushions and leave the cue ball down in this left corner pocket. But the dreaded double kiss.
Well, it's not straightforward. The black looks as if it's not available in either corner. Find out shortly whether it is or not. Yeah, maybe it is. And it's just where it's going to when it's re-spotted. Just enough room to pass the red there. Had to play it into the left half of the pocket as we looked at it there. Is there enough room? Terry Camilleri, referee, will just check with his ball marker there.
Eight.
Doesn't really matter that the black is tied up. He's got the pink and blue to work with here.
9. $15. 16. 21. 22.
You won't be happy with that one. Good 3 inches short of the cue ball there.
He's quite a tall player as Mark Selby, about 6'3", and very useful there to
28.
stretch over the corner pocket and get to that shot. And I've noticed, Stephen, you know, down the years we've seen Mark with his head shaking around quite a bit. Doesn't seem to be moving as much now. Still slight movement there, but it's something he's always done.
$35.
Yeah, and it's turned into quite a comfortable win in this first frame. 2 bad mistakes and safety shots from Scott Donaldson has ended up costing him this frame. Mark Selby has done what he does best. He just mopped things up.
$42. 43.
Wow, that's a terrific shot there. You could see the white leave the bed of the table. He hit it that hard, it hit the blue and then jumped up in the air. Okay. Can just see enough of this, I think.
49.
Every chance now that he can clear the remaining balls here.
55.
Stephen said he needed a couple of chances. Scott had a couple of DDKs, as we call them, or as I call them, the dreaded double kiss. That's what's cost him this opening frame.
59.
Yeah, you can have that one, Dennis. It's been a pretty solid start, though, from Mark Selby.
61.
He's looked his normal, calm, composed self.
64. 68.
He's not bothered about the blue.
Mark
He
Selby.
needed a couple of bites of the cherry. He certainly took the third one, and he's taken this opening frame very comfortably indeed.
Fish.
Sure is. And back into that office we go.
Mark Selby breaks off, and again the black looks to be tied up. Possibly pots the right corner, but with the red to the left of it, it's not available at the moment. I think there is a red available for Scott to take on to the left corner. Don't think he can shy away from these if he wants to win today. Can't really see him beating Mark Selby in a tactical battle. But he's going to play the containing shot. There's no one better at this game than this man coming to the table now. He'll be busy, Scott, being Mark Selby at this game.
I think he's got away with the one to the corner. We show you the attempt again into the middle, just catching the near jaw and heading towards the corner pocket, but the brown has come to his rescue. But there's one into the right corner. Be interesting to see how he plays this. Is he going to try and develop the black, or is he just going to put everything into the pot? And it's got to go in, it has to be said here. But not the easiest of positional shots, that's for sure. He had to trust a little bit to luck, and he hasn't had any. But he got the red, but where's he going to find a position to keep the cue ball safe with that red over the corner pocket there to the right of the green? Back on the cushion behind the black spot would be one option, as long as he covers the one up over the corner pocket. He was very unlucky there. We'll show you the pot again. I mean, he cued this really well and didn't get any luck whatsoever.
Yeah, didn't get. I mean, the first part, he's been really lucky if he would have finished a pot in the black, but even to finish not even on a decent safety shot.
Scott Donaldson 1. Touch him on.
He might be able to pot that, but there's no color, so there's no real value in rolling that red in. There's a potential re-rack situation here. Not just yet, but that red over that corner pocket causing the problem. So he's got to find a spot on the cushion that he doesn't leave the one to the left middle or the one to the right corner. So he's already worked that out. Oh, he did leave the one to the left middle, but I think the other red has just blocked the path for it.
I think you can get to it, Dennis. I think the fact that Scott's looking at the path of the cue ball. There's pressure on it though.
It's a key shot early on in this second frame. Looks like he may cannon the brown. It's all about the red. Well, he did cannon the brown, but he'll take that. It was a terrific pot. That's a confidence booster for this young Scot.
Five.
Now if you can play for the blue and get an angle in the blue to go into the pink here, it's an excellent time to do it because he's got that red that's towards the left middle pocket. Should the split not go right, well, he's not.
Six.
Decided not to play for the blue for that instance, but I think green, red is to the right of the green, then definitely play for an angle in the blue.
Yep.
Yeah, he might not be able to do that now that he's let the cue ball run a little further than he intended, so he'll just play for a balk colour. But the only problem with the balk colour is if he leaves the yellow or brown and comes off the side cushion, that loose red is in the way of cannoning into the pink and reds. I mean, Stephen's option was much better, and he won't be able to do that now, so it's not a good chance just yet. There's a red at the back of the bunch that's also available, but as I say, you can't really come off the side cushion into the pink and reds because the loose red's blocking the path, as I mentioned. So I play for the loose red here. Just taking a while a few spectators get in. 4 tables, as you can see, so there's always going to be some distraction. Oh, that seemed to spring off that cushion. That white ball flew off the side cushion and he's out of
40.
position. He can't really afford to do this, Stephen, can he, against Mark Selby? He's got to take full advantage, and he's let it slip there.
Yeah, it was just, you know, it wasn't the best break building at the start of that break. He didn't really see the opportunities to, the way to get into the pack as soon as possible. You know, going back to what Steve said about being on the TV table, sometimes when you put out your comfort zone, you don't think the same way you normally do. Just definitely not the best
14.
planning at the start of that break.
think this is why it's so important that Scott takes his chances, because as Stephen mentioned, against Mark Selby, his tactical and safety game is, well, it's one of the best we've ever had in the game. So when you do get a chance, you've got to really take it. It's easier said than done. It's a big match, this, for Scott. But at least he's got in the back of his mind that he has beaten Mark Selby. Although it's a couple of years ago he beat him in a European Tour event 4-2. In fact, in the English Open, he only lost in the deciding frame 4-3. And what it also means is that Scott's got to play a telling safety shot himself to try and put Mark Selby in a spot of bother so that he can get a possible chance. There's no easy safety on here, and not one that can put Mark in a bit of bother.
Well, we're giving you just a taster, you might say a snooker starter, here in York in this Betway United Kingdom Championship here on BBC One. The main course, if you like, is going to continue on BBC Two, and it will do until 6 o'clock this evening. Watching in round 2 this afternoon, he's the reigning UK and world champion, and this is the man he's playing. This is Scott Donaldson from Perth in Scotland, world number 66, who is playing one of the most high-profile matches of his career so far. This man has made it to the semi-finals of the Welsh Open. That's been his greatest progression in his career so far. And in fact, he's beaten Mark on one previous occasion, but he's got his hands full with a man who just thrives in these big major events. So let's return you with a score 1-0 to Mark Selby, to our commentary team today. Stephen Hendry, who's not had too bad success actually in this championship too. And he's alongside Dennis Taylor. Hi again.
Thanks, Hazel. As we see Mark
Selby
rolling up behind the yellow, he has had a chance, knocked a cracking long red in to get in, and it looked as if he was going to go on and maybe make a winning contribution, and he stunned the black in, and look where he left the cue ball. There was a red over the left corner, and he snookered himself on that red.
A little bit fortunate there. The cue ball just grazed the blue. I'm sure the cue ball, even if it missed the blue, had been somewhere up in that direction anyway, but I think he's got Scott snookered on all reds, or can he just get to this one, the left of the table?
Yeah, Mark got in just as we were switching channels, and this was the long red he knocked in right in the center of the pocket. And I thought he was going to go on and make a big break, but he showed you the shot that he just left the white tight in against the reds. I'm not sure if this red will get past the green. It might do. Yeah, every chance of getting on the black here. There you see it. Oh no. Long way off. No real pressure on that one. And Scott just tying the laces there.
He can play this red to the far left corner. He's not going to leave anything that well. It's the only red he can leave is the one he's playing pot. No, long way off as well. No, these are only half chances, but the chances he has to take, you feel, in this game.
Scott feels he can, well, he was looking at the potting angle, and I think he can miss canning into those reds near the pink. No, he's just playing the safety shot. He did have a look at the potting angle, but it was a bit risky. I think he's still quite tense, is Scott. I think the last attempted long red showed that he hasn't fully relaxed just yet. He's looking at the two reds to see if they're a possible plant to the right middle, but I don't know if he can get past the black to see enough of it to take the plant on, even if it, well, it's not far away, is it? But he can't see enough of the red to have a go at that.
He went up to the table to have a look at if he leaves the cue ball, plays the red that's touching the pink, comes off the left hand side of that, leaves the cue ball somewhere up near that yellow pocket. That would be a safe place.
That's the one that Stephen was saying, which is, you know, you'd have to be pretty accurate with it. But it's a possibility. Well, it's on the cushion, which is a big help. Now it's worked out that the red wouldn't pass the blue, the one near the yellow spot. So. Or does it? It does, so that wasn't the best of shots from Scott there.
It was amazing because he came round to look after he played the shot, so obviously he didn't even look before he played that safety shot. So very careless, if that's the case.
Three. Four.
And he thought any sort of cannon and he'd be nicely on a red. It's amazing how they work out sometimes. Played it well enough, but dropped on absolutely nothing. It's a very thin snick, this, if he takes it on to the right corner. I suppose he's looking at the possibility of cutting it in, and you know, he wouldn't really leave a great deal, but this is so thin. Well, it's in.
10.
They have to play for the red near the brown here. Don't think he'll be taking it on now.
15.
Send the red up the table, cue ball behind the brown.
Yeah, the green's there is a little bit of insurance if he doesn't get tied in behind the brown. The green's in a good spot as well.
Mark Selby, 15.
Problems now for Scott. He'll probably attempt the two cushion escape just to glance off. The one near the pink, you would think. There's no easy one to just land on. That one is near the cushion. There's no path through to that, so the two cushion flick the red. Or is he trying to land on one? No, the two cushion. Now, has he judged it? That's pretty good. That's a good effort. Very good effort. But he might be in behind the brown again here.
1.
Yeah, I'd have to say that looks like being the frame winning shot. I think Scott Donaldson, Dennis, has to do something different, has to shake it up a bit. I think the way the game's going, it's not putting Mark Selby under any
6.
pressure whatsoever. These little, containing safety exchanges. If it keeps going like this, you can only see one result. And it's going to be
7.
a comfortable afternoon for the world number 1.
Yeah, he could do with a good chance in amongst the ball, Scott, just to get a bit of confidence going. Because he's had a few chances, but he just hasn't settled. So this is the key shot coming up here.
30.
It's not an easy one.
Yeah, I didn't expect to be playing a red as difficult as this. And he potted that opening long red. See, head shaking. Solid
40.
pot though. Does that red past the black?
That means that Scott now needs a snooker. 36 the difference with just 35 remaining. The red didn't pot, but he just
Mark
made
Selby,
sure of the
20.
pink. Barring that snooker, the defending champion's going to be leading 2-0. Don't think he can push the red past the black here when he hits the cushion. No. Oh, hang on a minute. If that keeps running, I don't think it's quite a snooker, but might not be able to see enough to pot it. Certainly not without a trace aside. Played it with left hand side and secured the pot and the frame.
Yeah, yet to be put
6.
under any sort of pressure so far in this match, Mark Selby.
Nine. Thirteen. 18. 24.
He's not going to bother
Mark
with the
Selby.
black. It was a bit of a scrappy frame. That's why it lasted almost 35 minutes. But at the moment, it's pretty comfortable. The defending champion, Mark Selby, now leads 2 frames to 0.
Ronnie O'Sullivan, yeah, is not Mark Selby. On the big stage, totally dominant. But you've got to get through. You've got to play these bread and butter matches, best of 11s now in the UK Championship, and you've got to keep yourself in the frame. You can only win it if you're in it.
I think you're absolutely right. And the breadth and the number of different winners this season, it does add up to a potentially fascinating 9 days in front of us. Back we go then. Frame 3.
Well, I was just going to say that Scott didn't make a particularly good break-off shot, but the fact that Mark missed a long red has given Scott a chance, as we show you the attempt at the long pot there. So, as Stephen said, he's got to make something happen, and now is not a bad time to start. Very capable and a very talented player.
Again, straight away there, he could have played for black. He's got a good angle on his blue to smash into the pink. Well done, good shot. If anything, just didn't get the pink absolutely full ball. That's why he's lost a cue ball, but he's got a choice of a couple of reds to the left middle. So he just catches the pink on the left-hand side as he looks at it. But good attacking shot. This is not easy. Well done.
7.
So he's got to score here.
He's a few reds he can play for, but he'd like to get the one to the right of the black, pot it and get the black back on its spot. Doesn't have to go that way, but that red's just a little bit of a distraction there.
Close.
It's imperative that he gets on the black here. As I say, just that red's a little bit of a distraction, the one to the right of the black spot there, when it goes back onto its spot.
Twenty.
Just gone a little bit too far. He was hoping to be nicely on the blue, to then pop the blue and get on that red that I've mentioned a few times, the one to the right of the black. He was hoping to be in a nice position to get onto that, but it's not the correct angle for that.
Yeah, he's got a couple of choices. He could play the green and screw back for the red. It's near the yellow to left corner. Be a simpler safety shot, similar positional shot, I should say, than this. Well, he's played the cannon, but he's still on this red to right corner.
26.
You can stun off a couple of cushions for black to same pocket. So still a decent opportunity.
Yeah, he's got an angle here. If he pots that and screws somewhere near the lines, he'd leave himself on the black.
$27.
Yeah, that's nicely played, and now he can play for that red that's to the right of the black. And getting it out of the way just clears the black spot area somewhat.
35.
A couple of choices here. You can play for the loose red that's near the cue ball, or you could play the cannon. The 6 reds, the red that's furthest to the right, you can play a cannon on that one. But his heart was in his mouth there. He played it a lot firmer than I thought he was going to. Played it very aggressively.
42.
He's still in good position.
Well, we always say you never really settle till you get your first frame on the board. He had a couple of chances in the 2 opening frames, but looked a little bit tense. But this is much better from Scott here. Got to keep it going though. And this is a key shot coming up because he's cannoning the 3 reds. He's got to make sure that he gets on the black here. He doesn't want to stick in the reds, so he can play it with quite a bit of topspin to make sure the white runs on through. Yeah, nicely played.
51.
And this is much more positive, as you were saying, Stephen. This is exactly what he had to do. He had to make something happen, and he's certainly doing that here.
Yeah, he's just got to keep his concentration here. Put another 4 or 5 pots to make this frame safe. Look at the way the balls are. An easy clearance for Mark Selby. That's a good performance from Scott Donaldson.
58.
He's not really had much of a chance to score in the first 2 frames. He's taken advantage of this very well so far.
59.
And he really wants to put this frame beyond doubt at this visit, because the last thing he wants is to have 15-20 minutes with Mark Selby going for
64.
snookers. Just wants to get this frame won here and now.
65.
Yeah, just coming up to the hour. That second frame was almost 35 minutes.
$70. $71.
Frame well and truly safe now, so we can just concentrate and try and knock a century break in. At the moment, 137 is the high break. Judd Trump
78.
and Joe Perry both achieving that.
$79.
And that's interesting. Scott's highest ever break in competitive play is a 137
85.
back in 2016.
85.
He's had a couple of centuries in round 1. Now can he get nicely in this red to give himself a chance? Nicely played.
88.
Well, a bit of distraction from the other table. He won't be too disappointed. It would have been lovely if he had made a century break, but he's got himself on the scoreboard. That's the main thing. He's now 2-1 behind.
tough in the early stages, isn't it? Particularly with so many vying for the top 64 spots on the tour, and we've got 128 professionals here. It's just the odd shot that can make the difference between a successful start to your career or not.
Yeah, there are, and you know, the first problem you have is getting onto the professional ladder. Then you can celebrate that, but then that's when the problem starts. And then the next biggest problem is trying to keep your tour card. And this 64 cut-off is a very, very important part for most players.
Yep, he is. And currently world number 66 is Scott. He's shown some real promise over the last couple of years since coming through qualifying to become a professional in the first place. And here he is, one behind, the defending champion. This is the last frame before their interval.
And once again, off the break-off shot, I think it's happened in most frames here. The black tied up. It's amazing how that happens so many times. As Hazel mentioned, the interval after this fourth frame, but it's the best of 11, so I suppose it's nice for the players to be playing the best of 11. A lot of the tournaments these days are best of 7. The yellow's quite a nice target to try and get in behind. Off its spot, but it's in a good position to try and get a snooker behind. Can he swing the white around the angles? Hit it a bit too thick, far too thick. Well, if he's got away with that, he's very fortunate. He was attempting to get round behind the yellow and just got too much side, and it threw the cue ball into the red to get that thick contact. Just about see enough of that.
One.
Just looking to see where the black's going to be spotted after he pots it here. He can play for it here again. He can play for the black. Start off the top cushion, the right hand side cushion. Get that black back into play as soon as possible. If he lands a bit short, he's always got the blue. He has to play for the black here.
Nine.
Well, he did play for the black, but it's finished just as you predicted, Stephen. He's got the blue. But you could see Scott before he played the shot, he was glancing at the black. Because the pink's totally out of commission. But there's 4 or 5 loose reds. The black back on its spot would really help. Well, I think he'll have to just concentrate on the blue for a couple more shots.
14.
And you could always leave an angle on the blue and then go straight into the pink and reds.
If he can see the left-hand side of these two reds, and obviously now he's playing the other one. He could have tried to play for the black again. Well, he could see it, but
15.
he's staying on the blue.
And he's got the chance now to go straight into the pink, as I mentioned, and he could bring, well, quite a few reds into play and hopefully free the pink.
If he plays that shot, as long as he hits the pink on the right-hand side of the pink as we look at it, he'll be okay because there's a red on the black cushion. If he hits the pink on the left-hand side, he could lose it. Could even go in off. That's okay. So as long as he hit the other side of the pink, he was always going to have reds to this left corner pocket.
20.
Only problem is the pink's gone safe.
Yeah, he's got a comfortable red to go at, but he's got to find a path between the two reds there near the pink. And he's took his eye off the pot. He didn't find the path either. He counted another red, so probably lost a little bit of concentration there. He was more concerned with the cue ball, what he was doing with that, and took his eye off the red there. And that was a golden opportunity that he's let slip. Good news from Scott's point of view is he hasn't left Mark Selby with an opener, or certainly not an easy opener. He'd have to bend that slightly around the pink if he was going to pot one near the pocket. Suppose he could tempt this red up into the corner and just, it would be a free shot. He'd be on the blue if it goes in. Well, almost a minute and a half thinking about this one. This red's a bit of a distraction there, the one that's just under his waistcoat. Well, he felt it was worth the risk, because had that red have dropped, just look at the way the balls were situated. Now, can Scott get on the black as we show you this red? Catching the jaw, but if he could drop on the black here, get it back on the spot, be another great chance. One good positional shot, and with a 21-point advantage and the mid-session interval coming up. Could be 2-all. A lot of balls to be potted though.
Yeah, I'll be looking to play for the red. It's over that left corner pocket here. I'm sure he didn't play it that way, but that's perfect.
8.
Great chance. Already 28 points up in this frame.
9.
I don't expect him to miss this black, but could have done another couple of inches in the cue ball there. Again, he's going to play a cannon on the red directly above the black, so don't take your eyes off the pot.
I thought he was going to cannon the other
60.
red and he would have been perfect. This is... Let's have a look. Yeah, I think he probably did. The triangular reds, he played the cannon, the one to the right, and he would have been in perfect position. And this is a little bit of a cutback. Nicely
70.
played. Just all about keeping your full concentration here. It's an important frame from Scott's point of view.
$22.
So he's tried to get to that 69 points there, and he would have preferred not to be playing little cannons, but he's going to have to play one here.
$23.
Just slightly awkward bridging now, but shouldn't be a problem. Doesn't have a great deal to do with the cue ball. Wow. I think he thought he'd missed that. Any harder, that wouldn't have dropped. But it just shows you when you have to play a little cannon that you don't really want to be playing, it can finish awkward, but I'm sure he felt that wasn't going to go in there.
31.
I actually can't believe it did go in. Only when you hit that first knuckle like that and stay out. But that'll have sharpened up his concentration, that little scare.
$38. $39.
Well, it was all looking pretty comfortable for the defending champion. First couple of frames, but he now knows that he should be heading off to the mid-session interval. All square. Just a
46.
couple more pots to make absolutely sure.
$47.
Wow, that's very
Scott
careless
Donaldson,
indeed.
47.
I mean, he's 67 in front. Just needs the black to make sure of the frame. It was as if he was concentrating on the cannon. It didn't matter what was happening in the cue ball. Well,
1.
the balls are a little bit awkward here, but there's a possibility of a respotted black. If there's
8.
one player you don't want to leave a glimmer of hope for, it's Mark Selby, and Scott can't believe he missed the black.
$9.
Can just drop the black in and just go past the pink spot area, leave the red to the left of the pink spot.
$16.
Yeah, I don't think it was a wrong shot to play the cannon, although I just needed the black. I think he played the right shot. It's just he took his eye off it.
70.
You see, he could have just rolled this black in, I suppose, but you play the positive shot. You don't expect to miss that.
Do you think he had in the back of his mind that this is frame ball? It's amazing what it does
24.
psychologically to a player, even the great players sometimes. You see them miss that frame ball.
$25.
Wow, would you believe it?
Mark Selby,
Mark
25.
Selby, world #1, misses a black off the spot. He's given himself a bit of a telling off there. Don't see that very often. And it'll be a relieved Scott Donaldson, that's for sure. 2 snookers required. know he needs 2 snookers, Mark Selby. The balls are in ideal positions for snookers because you want something near a cushion. The black's in a good spot, the pink is, the yellow's in a very good position. So Scott will have to be a little bit careful here. A little beauty. He's played a little beauty there. Acknowledged by Mark Selby, just tapping the table. And there you've got the perfect picture to watch this swerve shot. Okay. Oh, no problem. I say no problem, but Scott will roll the red in and we'll all head off to the mid-session interval, hopefully. Bit of distraction. I think the other tables going to the mid-session interval, that's the problem you have when you've got 4 tables in play and the dividing wall. You can see what's going on in the other tables. And that will do nicely. And it has to be said, he's done very well as Scott. Okay, he missed that easy black, but he had a break of 88 to take the first frame, or his first frame. Doesn't matter about the blue. Mark just nods to the referee, and we go off to the mid-session interval. And you have to say, Scott Donaldson would be more than happy to be all squared at 2 frames each.
Match against Scott Donaldson, and they too are poised at 2 frames apiece. Remember, it's best of 11 in these opening round matches, so first to 6 is going to go through to round 3. Back we go to Stephen and Dennis.
Thank you, Hazel. And Hazel and Steve are doing a great job in that very tight players' lounge. They're huddled over in the corner together there. It will change once we get the studio back. At the moment, the outside tables are being used, but it's a great atmosphere in there in the players' room. Just popped in for a coffee. He makes a mean coffee, does Stephen Hendry. I never get one, but he does make a mean coffee.
Poor shot. Now from Mark Selby. It's normally bread and butter to him, those types of containing safeties, but he's left Scott a red to the right middle. Long way out. Yeah, in that players' lounge, there's no practice tables, Dennis, because they're using that room for the matches in the other room. But there's one table in the players' lounge. It's very tight. But Mark Selby spent the whole time potting long balls. Not easy. The distractions in there. Lots of people. But he needs to get his focus back in this match. I know Scott played well to win the 3rd and 4th frames, but you could just sense that Mark Selby, perhaps he was getting it a bit too easy. He'd let his concentration levels drop a bit.
6.
Needs to get back and stamp his authority back on this match.
Seven. 12.
Yeah, with the black awkward and the pink tied up, if he gets a good angle on the blue after potting this, he can open the frame up.
30.
Although having said that, he's a bit too straight. There is a red at the back and to the left of the bunch that's available. I think he got a slight heavy contact. I'm sure he was wanting to leave an angle on the blue and then cannon straight into the pink and open things up, but be a slight change of plan now. Just playing with a little bit of drag there, hitting the white on the bottom and just a slight kick. Can he get the correct side of the blue this time?
$90.
He's probably overcompensated this time. I think he's just about okay. It's thinner contact, but pink full ball would be great here. Caught at half ball. That's, well, there might be a red into the middle pocket, but he didn't get the cannon as he intended
24.
there.
Mark Selby, 24.
It wasn't easy, but it was a long way out. And a great chance for Scott Donaldson. Look at counter attack.
1.
He may choose to go into the reds here because he's got quite an acute angle in the blue. And I think that's just to kill the pace of the cue ball. If he plays at a decent pace, he could possibly bring the black into the open as well. No, the reds to play for, but I think I'd be tempted to go into the bunch here. Very unlucky not to be on anything.
Six. Seven.
And that also seemed to jump a little bit. It took a bit of the pace out of the cue ball. He's looking at two reds, hoping they're a plant, and they are. You can see the two reds to the left of the one he's just potted. So maybe the fact he's the wrong side of the blue doesn't really matter because of those. Yeah, he can. Well, he's got the red to the right of them also, but they look to be a plant. Yeah.
12.
And if he gets enough screw on this shot when he takes the plant on, he'll finish back on the blue or possibly the pink. Just a little bit of twixt in between here.
Yeah, he was stretching a little bit, so couldn't get the action on the cue ball that he wanted. Takes the blue to the far right corner. It's a tester. Sort of shots that professionals spend hours practicing. And solid pot right in the middle of the pocket.
18.
It would be ideal if he could get on the black, but he's had a look at it and it looks a little bit tight because of the red to the right of the black. He's got plenty of other options available to him here.
90.
He's on the pink, but he'll maybe just have a look at the black again. Because if he could pot the black and just nudge the red away, he'd have everything in the open. But he played that in such a way as if he didn't feel that he could see enough of the black. He was always going to have the pink.
Well, if he's on the black, he has to play it. So obviously he's not, because that is the shot.
$25. $26.
Come up a little bit short, but he can screw up for the red there to the left of the blue. Just depends on the angle he has here. Yeah, nicely played.
Yeah, he's starting to look comfortable
32.
in this match. Scott Donaldson. He's starting to look like he's starting to believe that he can do something here this afternoon.
$33. $38.
Just one more easy red available to Scott here. The one next to the black, I don't think pots. One either side of the table. They're not ideally placed, no problem for the red that's just to the right of the black and red. But it's not a straightforward run to the winning line in this frame.
$44.
Well, look at that, both scored 221 points. Dead straight on the red, as you can see, but no problem screwing it back.
45.
Now what does he do? Does he try and drop in behind that red, the right side of the table? I think that probably is the shot. If you try and move it, you could maybe put it in a worse position. Now, does the pink block the path? He's played to move it. The pink might be blocking the path. That could be the end of break. A bit unlucky there. Look at that. It's amazing. Just fractions. That's what this game's all about.
Scott Donaldson, 51.
He might have to just come off the side cushion and nestle on that red that's near the right corner pocket. He'd love to be able to get past the yellow just to flick this red and get back up to the safety area, but well, can he just, well, he's playing with a little touch of swerve, as you can see there, so he's got to be a bit careful he doesn't get too much on this. I was always pushing one towards the corner, but I'll tell you what, overall that was a pretty good shot there. See the thin safety shot off this red that's near the right side cushion. He could get the double kiss, so just wondering if he's going to attempt to pot it if he... Which is what he's done. Now, Scott had a look at this black. It's very, very tight. I just was watching Mark's face there, and he gave a nice smile as if to say, I don't think I can pot this black. Because if you hit the black and the red at the same time, it's a foul shot. It's what we call a split ball, where you hit them both together.
Brown. Mark Selby, 1.
Very good safety shot there, Scott Donaldson. Seen it tapping the table for appreciation. Mark Selby. Pretty high standard of safety so far in both players. 94%, 93%. Scott Donaldson more than holding his own at the moment.
One good long pot here, and he could get himself onto the blue in such a way that he could then bring the red next to the black into play, but he's got to knock the red in first. And there's the red. It's gone a bit too far for comfort to be able to pot the blue and cannon that red. I suppose you'd have to say that's a trademark shot from Mark Selby. Was about the best he could do. There was no way he could get onto that red or play a cannon from that position. It was very difficult. But the frame now in the balance, even though Scott leads by 19 points, all the colours are on.
Mark Selby 7.
And he could do with kicking this red from behind off the side and top cushion. Try and get a bit of distance between red and cue ball. Now he's just playing to nestle onto it, but you could put yourself in trouble playing it that way. You might be in a worse position for the next shot.
Yeah, this sort of situation, the last red. Playing safety shots, so strong, Mark Selby, in this situation. Very few players get the better of him. Although I'd be disappointed if he's just stuck a left edge of that red out. That's careless for him.
Well, there's not much, that's for sure. I'm right in line with the shot, and I think he's going to have to come off the baulk cushion. I don't think there's enough sticking out. Well, he's only 23 years of age. His eyesight's a lot better than mine, that's for sure. But if he comes off the baulk cushion, the red can go over either corner pocket. Well, he'll settle for that because you're never absolutely sure where they're going to finish.
I think the red may have just travelled an inch, just an inch too far for the double. So cue ball in behind the black, red in the middle of the baulk cushion. Oh, he's completely mishit that. He's absolutely butchered that shot.
Well, this is a chance now. As Scott glances around at the scoreboard, if he knocks the red on, you'd think he'll automatically finish on the colour. White will miss the green and he'll head back up towards the pink and black, but this could be a frame winner. It's not easy. Played it nicely, as long as it doesn't drop on the side cushion. Well, he's finished a little awkward because if he pots the black, he's going to be 27 in front with 27 remaining. So just make sure of the black and don't snooker yourself on the yellow. And
Eight.
every chance now that he could take this frame, and that would be 3 in a row from 2-0 down. But there's plenty of snooker left in this frame.
Scott Donaldson, 8.
Well, he looked at the potting angle there, so he may be taking this on. Oh. He's played a few shots in this frame where he's been way out with his judgment. And Scott Donaldson will pick up on that. You can't catch your breath. Look where the white's finished. And 29 ahead. He needs 1 snooker to tie. Scott can't believe where the cue ball's finished because it's not a straightforward escape either. He would have felt when he potted the yellow, I thought, well, that's the frame secure. And look where the white's finished up. If he's going to come off the side cushion, Mark Selby knows that he'd have to get a lot of swerve on this. He'll be raising the butt of the cue, as you can see. Lots of right-hand side to hit the cushion and send it towards the green. Doesn't want to hit the black. Oh, just tipped it well done.
Scott Donaldson, 2.
The brown is the only good ball in a position to get snookers behind. The pink and blue out in the middle of the table are not ideally placed, and the black, well, that's a bit of insurance for Scott. It's safe there on the side cushion. Might just be able to get up behind the brown this time. Yeah, you can come off the cushion behind the black spot and just send the white up towards the brown. He's caught it a bit thin and a bit pacey. Judge it better this time. Oh, he's going close to the pocket. It's not a bad effort, though. But unlucky to knock the pink in, but he mishit that completely. In fact, he has conceded the frame. So Scott Donaldson through 2 frames to 0. All of a sudden, he's leading the defending champion by 3 frames to 2.
The most, but it's impossible to sometimes do it, and your general form can wax and wane. And this is an event you'd like to do well in, but you can't guarantee it.
And of course, being the defending champion and the world champion, every time you meet a player from the lower ranks, it's an FA Cup final for them, in effect, and they tend to raise their game. So fair play to Scott Donaldson. Doing well, 3-2 in front. Back we go.
Done very well, Scott Donaldson, to get himself into this position in this match. Sometimes you can see the pressure reverse. All of a sudden, you might start to get premature thoughts of winning this match. That's a big mistake early in this 6th frame. And Mark Selby needs a 1-visit frame, I feel, to get back on track.
1.
It wasn't the cleanest pot in the world. See, pot's in the left-hand side of the pocket as he looked at it. Didn't strike it very well.
That certainly helps Mark's cause, the pink going on to the blue spot. And he didn't hit that very well. Mistimed that completely. In fact, he's going to do well now to get onto that red to the left of the bunch. We'll just show you the shot again. Yeah, he's timing slightly out at the moment. And look at the topspin he's generated there. And he's finished on that red that's to the right of the bunch that I mentioned. Good shot. In fact, there's a couple of reds
40
available. There might even be 3 into this left corner pocket. But once again, the black was tied up off the break-off shot. A red going next to it.
15.
Mark did say to me at the interval that he thought the table was not as fast as what perhaps the players expect these days. They're a little bit heavy. He's underhit that shot as well. when you're not timing the ball as well as you should be, it makes the
21.
doesn't make the table seem heavier.
Two. 25.
He opened up with a break of 68 in the opening frame, but this has been his highest break since then.
$26.
Doesn't matter how good you are, who you are in the game. Nothing gets your confidence, your focus back more than winning a frame in one visit. Mark Selby's got a chance of doing that, although he won't be too happy with that positional shot. Played that cannon wrong. Playing this right into a blind pocket.
33.
Can be missed.
34.
Choice of a couple of reds to right corner here. One at the end of the pack. He's played for getting that red to the left of the black away. That's his more exact position shot required.
37.
Is he on it?
Smiling to himself, so I don't think he is on it. Look at that. Just ran that a little bit too far. And once again, just a fraction making all the difference.
Mark Selby, 37. 1.
That was a useful little angle on the middle pocket there to leave himself nicely on the pink.
He's not getting through the cue ball well at the moment, Mark Selby. That was another sort of slight deceleration. He wasn't supposed to be going anywhere near that red that he cannoned. Didn't get a stun on the cue ball.
8.
Yeah, enough loose reds there to secure this 6th frame.
$11. $18. 19.
Straightforward just to get onto the red that will secure the frame.
$26. 27.
So we stopped that mini run from Scott Donaldson, who took 3 frames in a row. As we both mentioned, he'd lost his way a little bit earlier in this frame. The timing was just out, but
34.
we know with Mark Selby,
35.
soon play himself back into top form again, and he'll have to do that to beat Scott Donaldson here.
$42. 43.
Doesn't matter the fact that he
50.
hasn't dropped on a red. He can still have a go at this, but doesn't matter whether it goes in or not.
50 in the frame. Mark
So
Selby.
we have stopped the run of 3 in a row from Scott Donaldson, and the defending champion Mark Selby is back all square, 3 frames each. He deserves that little drink.
Mark.
And I tell you what, just quickly as we go back to Scott Donaldson and Mark Selby, Ryan Day is now officially out of the conversation which starts, who's the best player never to win a world ranking title after that victory at the Riga Masters at long, long last, and congratulations to him.
Yes, and then all of a sudden he had his cue broken, and therefore he's playing relatively with a new cue. So any performance that he's putting at the moment with a basically a brand new piece of wood is fantastic.
Yes, snooker giveth and it taketh away at the same time. Back we go.
I'll just show you that attempt again at the long pot that is usually a trademark of Mark Selby's, but he's done remarkably well with the outcome. Once he missed the red, I'm sure he would have felt he was going to stick Scott Donaldson in amongst them. Didn't spot that plant. It was a good shot he played, a good safety shot. Now, has he got an angle on the brown to capitalise on that fluked plant? Or does he just roll up tight to the yellow? He could drop the brown in the middle pocket, play the red to the left of the blue. It's a pretty good long potter, is Scott. And that's what he's done. Needs good cueing. It's the sort of shot that the players practice
5.
for hours on end. And you mentioned you used to play at your club at Spencer's in Stirling. I used to, when I went up there, watch Stephen Hendry practice this type of shot.
Six.
Yeah, looks like he's enjoying this challenge at the moment. Scott Donaldson potted that red quickly up, walking around the table to see what the situation was. Decent opportunity this. Black is available to the left corner.
Yeah.
Decent long pot success for Scott Donaldson, 3/4. Just edging out Mark Selby. Mark Selby's long pot success, 52%. Was not good. Not what you would expect.
And there's a stat we didn't expect to see. 94% with the safety success rate against Mark's 91%. And that's perfectly played. He's almost dead straight on this red, can leave himself on the black.
70. $18.
Yeah, I think you summed it up nicely, Stephen. He's enjoying himself now out there. He looked a little bit edgy the first 2 frames, but
25.
he knows he's quite capable of causing an upset here.
$26. $33. $34. $40. $41. $48.
He's had breaks of 88, 47 and 51. sat out the previous frame, didn't score. Mark Selby at a 37 and a 50. This is a great response from Scott here.
He looks confident. You could argue and say he looks the more confident of the two players at the moment. He certainly looks the more likely to win a frame in one visit.
Just come up a little bit short there. A few more inches and he could have played nicely onto the black. It's just, as you can see, the angle he's left with. He's just got to be a bit careful now because he's not that many points away from winning the frame. Yeah, avoided 57. The cannon on that red. That was good. And nicely played that last shot. He didn't want to cannon that red and he managed to get round the back of it.
$62. $63. $70.
Mark Selby needs a snooker.
71.
This has been a very good break from Scott Donaldson. He's played this with a lot of authority.
$77. $78. $83.
Just let the cue ball drift a bit there, but frame's won. But you would obviously like to make a century. You can use the red to kill the pace of the cue ball. Yeah, well done.
84.
Yeah, he's going to need the difficult red as well if he's going to make a century. He's had 4 centuries this season so far. He had 4 centuries last season, and he's made 24 in his professional career, turned pro in 2012. Now if he can get this difficult red, oh, he's overscrewed it a little bit. He's going to have to take it because the other red doesn't pass the yellow. So this has got to go in if he's going to make a century. It's not imperative, but it's always nice if you can. What a shame, but the most important part of that, he got one chance and he took it and he made that fantastic 90 break and he's now back in the lead with 4 frames to.
Just got to stay in the moment. Scott Donaldson, not start to think ahead to what might happen. This would be a massive victory for him, but there's a long way to go. One frame at a time, one shot at a time. There is a red to right middle, but he has to get it because he's going to leave something on. If he misses that red, it's gone up to the left of the blue, so he may refuse this. Way out, a long way off the pot. And you see he's left Scott Donaldson an easy opener.
One.
And this time the black not tied up. The pink is, but the black is available, and that red next to it's available. He's already thinking a few shots ahead, as you can see where he pointed the cue there.
Three. Four.
Well, he mishit that completely.
He's been pretty good at this sort of shot so far. It's our mid-range pot. Again, right in the middle of the pocket. Chance to play for the black here. Stun the cue ball with the side cushion.
Ten.
Another excellent pot.
$70. 18.
Now when he pots this red, it's going to clear the path for the red at the back of the
25.
bunch there. It will then become available into the right corner. And then that's it. There's no other reds available, so he'll already be plotting his path to bringing him into play.
26.
Yeah, he's got to go into them now. It's a big target. Top spin, just a touch of right hand side into that main bunch. Missed the loose red. You got to miss that loose red that's between the black and the pack. Well played, very well played. Excellent shot.
Worth another look. That's the best shot of the match so far, right there. Now can he go on, hold himself together here and put himself in a very strong position? He would only need one more frame to cause quite an upset. He looks pretty cool and calculated at the moment, but still needs quite a few points to secure this frame.
showing good composure though, like having a walk around the table, having a look at the situation, not getting too excited. It's very easy to let things run away and play too quickly. Composure
41.
is the name of the game at the moment for Scott Donaldson. And that man there's got big problems if he wants to stay and defend this title.
$42. $49.
We had a couple of longish frames. The balls went a bit scrappy, but the rest of the frames have been won virtually with one visit.
50.
Could have done with just bouncing a little bit further. He's going to have to use one of the reds as a stopper here. If he could cannon the one that's in between the pink and the red to the left, he'd be perfectly placed. All about potting the black. Bound to be on a red, you would feel. Well, he's cannoned the wrong red. He's still got this one to the left corner, but he played a delicate little cannon and just...
57.
He wanted to hit the one there in between the pink and the red to the left and hit this one, and he should be okay. He can stun over behind the black again.
$58.
Again, I think he's going to have to play a screw shot off this right-hand side cushion, so he's got to hit this well. He's going to take the cue ball into the middle of the table.
$65. 66.
Doesn't look like missing at the moment.
Very, very impressed with Scott Donaldson here. I mentioned these breaks there. 88, 47, 51, 90 in the last frame, and then one chance, and he's doing this.
72.
Okay, we mentioned that Mark Selby had lost his timing a little bit, but a lot of that is down to the way this young man's playing here. Oh, he's going to have to win 3 in a row if he's going to stay in this year's Betway UK Championship. Oh, he's going to be unlucky again. He's had a few chances to get a century break, and that's just finished very awkward.
Seven in frame.
Yeah, nods to the referee, concedes the frame. So Scott Donaldson, with that magnificent break there, puts himself just 1 frame away from causing quite an upset here.
This
in
is
this
the
match.
question, exactly, because he'd lost, what, 10 matches in a row before he came here, and suddenly he's found something, this young fella.
Yeah, there are cycles in your form.
Yeah.
One minute you're playing badly, and the next thing you find something in practice and it inspires you. But this would be a bit of a turnaround in this particular match to find your form and get over the line and perhaps have your biggest scalp.
Well, Mark Selby has succumbed to lesser opposition, with the greatest of respect to Scott in the past, because it was David Morris, again, one of the lower ranked players, who beat him at this stage in 2014. But my goodness, this would be a feather in Scott's cap. Are we looking at something very dramatic featuring the world number one, the world champion, and the defending UK champion?
Oh, that needs to pull up. Well, I say it needs to pull up. There's still a possible pot to the right middle pocket. But with the white right in the jaws of the pocket, very difficult indeed. But maybe this is a young man we're looking at that just likes the big stage, likes playing on television. A lot of those defeats would have been, you know, in the best of sevens and that. Maybe he is a big occasion player. He's showing that here anyway, that's for sure. Good judgment there, because that was too tough a pot to risk. He'd like to take the red next to the yellow and get the frame back to normal, but it's a bit awkward with the yellow next to the red, so. And we could have one of those awkward frames now that there's another red gone up the table.
Touching ball.
Just a little bit of a stalemate at the moment with three reds up the other end of the table. There's nothing much available to either player here.
Touching ball.
Touching again, but doesn't matter, you can play off the other red. As long as you don't move the red that you're touching. If you do that, it's a foul shot. Might just take a few shots to resolve this situation here.
The one thing when you get these safety exchanges, bringing the cue ball Back to the top cushion is whoever gets the first chance. It's normally a good one because the players have spent so long bringing the reds into the open. So this could work in Scott's favour. If you can just get one good chance. Most difficult frame to win though, the one to go over the winning line.
And of course, as the reds loosen up, it's not easy just to roll to the red and keep everything safe.
I think I'd have to be tempted by this red to right middle. You get it, what a chance to win the match. Looks like it's the containing shot. Oh, that was a bit pacey. Don't know if he meant to hit it as hard as that. Certainly disturbed a few reds.
Well, this man's going to have to call on all his years of experience here to keep himself in this year's UK Championship, that's for sure. He knows he can't make many more mistakes. But how many times have we seen him in the World Championship and the UK Championship and various championships where his back's been against the wall, and that's when he's produced his best.
Mark Selby will know how much pressure his opponent's under now to get over the winning line, so he certainly won't be taking any risks. Again, he's got the dilemma. Just red to the right middle.
Just enough room to get a bit of backspin and get the white back. I think he's covered the one to the right middle pocket. There might be a long red up into the corner, but there's nothing easy, that's for sure. Over half an hour since his last pot.
Yeah, the last thing Mark Selby wants is a pressure pot. A difficult shot where if he misses it, it could be his last. He wants an easy opening at the moment. Oh, has he got possibly a choice of 2, maybe even 3 reds to right middle? He's got to take something eventually.
Is there a gap through to the red? It's the one nearest the middle he'd like to play, and there might just be enough room. And there was. Now, is he coming far enough? Yeah.
1.
Yeah, and as I said before, after that safety exchange, look at the reds now. What a chance. You'd have to say not a lot to do with the cue ball, just keep potting balls. May play a cannon into the 3 reds near the pink spot here, just to kill the pace of the cue ball, stop it running away. And that's good. That's very good. Oh, or is it just finished slightly awkward?
6.
Yeah, he played your shot, Stephen, and the red has just bounced that little bit too far. He was hoping to just drop it in and be nicely on the black.
But this is now like a practice setup now, the way the reds are. It's just all about keeping your composure. Backswing just getting a little bit shorter. That's down to pressure.
14.
Will they get a better chance than this to win this match? I doubt it.
Mark has beaten him 4 times. Scott has had 1 victory against Mark Selby, 4-2, a couple of seasons ago. The first 3 times they played was 4-0, 4-0, 4-1 to Mark Selby, but that was back in 2012, 2013. He's facing a much better player now, and Scott here, and the way he's performed in this match has been fabulous, it has to be said. Can he keep it going?
22. $23.
Well, you'd have to say it's only going to be nerves or careless shot, because as I said, there's virtually nothing to do with the cue ball. Finishes either side of the blue, he's going to have an easy positional shot. Pink and black both in the open. Oh, he's let that cue ball drift. He's let that cue ball drift. He's got a red to the middle.
28.
He tried to hold the cue ball here. Maybe if he'd played a cannon into the 2 reds to the left of where the cue ball is now, that'd have been the better shot.
Yeah, you could tell he was thinking, I don't really want to have to risk playing a cannon, and he tried to hold it. Oh, that's okay.
29.
Unintentional cannon on the red, but he's recovered the situation.
$33. $34.
You have to say, from 2-0 down, he's been by far the better player. He struck the cue ball with more authority than his opponent. And when he's got in, he's looked more likely to win the frame in 1 visit than his opponent.
38.
That's terrific, 94% pot success rate.
39.
And his long pot success rate is way above Mark Selby's, and I think he's outplayed Mark in all departments. Even the safety success rate at 93%. And maybe, as I mentioned, he is one of these young players that loves the limelight, loves to play on centre stage, because the way he's playing here against the defending champion is brilliant. Still needs a few more to be safe.
.44.
That was a bit of a nervy one. He could have done with screwing the cue ball a little bit to leave this pink straight, to keep the cue ball down this end of the table. He's going to have to go up for the red to the left of the yellow now. He's just not getting into the cue ball as much. It's understandable. Huge result this will be for Scott Donaldson. You have to say he's hit a poor slump in form recently, Dennis, Mark Selby. For his standards,
50.
He didn't play in Northern Ireland last week, so had a break.
51.
But it's not worked, the plan. If Scott Donaldson keeps potting balls here.
Just taking his time, composing himself. A little bit of noise from one of the other tables. Now 55 ahead. Two more reds with two high valued colors would be enough.
56.
And that's just about perfect. He can put this white in a position where he'll have a choice of three reds. You can see the angle he screwed the white into. Was leaving himself options. 61 ahead.
61.
What a performance from this young Scottish player.
Yeah, there'll be a lot of talk about how poorly Mark Selby's played today, but we really have to talk about how well Scott Donaldson's played. He's outplayed the world #1 in every department.
And I like his temperament. He's got a very good temperament. We thought he might struggle a little bit in this frame, the one that gets you over the winning line, but when he got his chance, he's certainly taken it. And it's hard to describe how this young man will be feeling inside here, beating the defending champion,
65.
world #1, current world champion.
66.
He's a very modest young man, but I'll tell you what, inside he'll be absolutely over the moon.
Yeah, I'm delighted for Scott. Sometimes you need these results.
73.
Could even kickstart a career, a result like this.
74.
I think I detected a nice little smile there. I think he suddenly realized what he's achieved here.
He'll be gutted, absolutely gutted.
77.
Well, he's come so close to making a century break on 2 or 3 frames. Can he get the cannon? Oh, unlucky. Hit it as hard as you can
84.
and hope for a fluke. But it's not finished. Oh, it was nearly going in the corner. He lost the 2 opening frames, and Mark Selby comes forward and congratulates this young Scottish player. Absolutely brilliant. Breaks at 88, 47, 51, 90, 77, and then that frame. Brilliant performance from Scott Donaldson, and he knocks out the defending champion by 6 frames to 3.